I'm here to discuss a Sunday feeling. I think for all of us who lead really hectic lives, you could be studying, you could be running your own show, you could be working. We all really look forward to the weekend where we get to spend times with ourselves, our families, to sort of unwind. But I think for all of us who really look forward to the weekend and enjoy it, there's also one feeling that's very, very common, which is the dreaded Sunday evening blue, where you're thinking about what you're going to do the next day, planning out your Monday, in fact, the entire week ahead. And just like I do that on every Sunday, I just happened to be sitting by myself today and I had this really somber thought. And the first thing I wanted to do was kind of come on here, discuss that feeling, unpack that feeling, and also try to understand if it's just me who feels that way or you've had such instances as well, which would, be worthwhile sharing and at least having a chat about. So let's call it the Tete a Tete Sunday. And that somber thought, that feeling that really, really, overcame me today, which I wanted to unpack, was the feeling of duality of life. So, how do I explain it? Let's say you're out with your colleague, you've had like a tough first half of Monday, and you both are just sitting across the lunch table, or just a coffee, sharing a coffee, or you've gone down for a little break. Um, you happen to discuss what's happening at work, you happen to discuss what projects they're working on. You share it, tiny here and there about each other's lives, but you really don't know the entirety of the 48 hours or 24 hours of the previous weekend they've spent at home. And this is what duality of life is. I might go and tell somebody that, hey, I watched a movie with my friends, I went out for dinner, but I may really, really be holding back on the majority of things I did, the majority of time I shared, not because I don't trust the other person or there's a professional boundary. Of course, those reasons exist. But a lot of times, we're all leading such difficult lives in some way or the other that there's, you know, the reason to go back to work may actually be to distract ourselves from that particular part of our lives. So I think the central thought remains that all of us, everybody that you come across, be it for work, be it for meetings, be it in a social setup, who you meet for 2 3 hours on a social occasion, everybody is leading really complex lives. That's the duality. We may show up at work, we may be happy, be very productive, but there may be certain silent burdens that people are carrying. And I've seen it time and again. I've seen colleagues showing up for meetings, for deadlines, for presentations, my friends going for business trips, socializing, being there for other people, all while dealing with their own shit, with their own problems, with silent battles that nobody really likes to discuss. And the reason, like I said, is not that people don't want to discuss it, people don't want to take help, people don't want to share what's happening in their lives, but a lot of times just being out there, and especially for a lot of people that I can comment on, and for my own self, work happens to be a coping mechanism. In absolutely chaotic times, 9 to 5 is not really a grind. It's in fact that central force that helps keep people together. My colleagues and I, we've chatted over so many coffee breaks about heartbreak, about personal turmoil, about loss, about illness. And what I've understood in those quick 5 10 minutes of our coffee chats has been that grief, loss, struggles, everybody has their own journey, everybody has their own wavelengths. Yet, each time we finish that coffee, we've all put on a brave face. They've put on such a brave face, and we've gone back to work and we've bloody delivered at work. Work, studies, business, hobbies, they can never, never really be a replacement for emotional support, for what your family and friends bring to the table, or for that matter, professional help as well. But with personal experience, with the experience of, having spoken to so many people, one thing's for sure, that it does keep you centered. It gives you a purpose in life, it puts you in a structure, it always gives you a reason to wake up to and look forward to, if nothing else. And I think one of the most important lessons that this has taught me is that people are not just employees, people are not just colleagues, everybody that you come across is in fact an individual dealing with a really, really complex life in one way or the other. And the only respite that we can give to them is to be a little empathetic whenever we meet somebody, whenever we come across somebody. It could be people you work with, it could be people you come across just for a meeting, it could be people you bump into at social events and gatherings. I think a lot of people are very quick to judge, are very quick to reprimand people if something really small goes wrong. For example, at work, somebody may miss a deadline, but you never know what they're going through. So maybe the first time it happens, have a little more compassion, have a little more empathy, try to be more understanding. Somebody may turn up at work and may scowl at you or may not speak nicely with you. It may happen once. For all we know, they may have missed, sending their kids to school on time who may have had really important exams that particular day. That really, sort of shifts your mood. But if you take personal grudges, if you judge, if you start having conversations behind their back, or if you're not nice to them, their day is just gonna spiral more out of control. So, yes, please don't treat people as instruments in your life. Please be a little more empathetic and compassionate. You never know. Anybody that you're coming across, they may be going through something you cannot even imagine. When you start making people feel seen, heard, and valued, not just for what they bring to the table or for the work they can do for you, but for actual individuals and who they are, it goes a long, long, long way in making relationships that are not just transactional, but full of value, love, kindness. And those are the relationships that you're going to really, really cherish in life. So the next time, tomorrow's a Monday, or whenever this video gets posted, it may be a work day the next. Um, Go to work with a little bit more kindness. Wake up with a little more empathy. Meet people from a place of understanding. And just see the kind of joy you can bring to other people just by being a little more kind and empathetic. So I think that was my somber Sunday feeling, which I really, really wanted to, sort of come here and unpack, because we meet so many people in life and it's important. If we can do nothing for them, then let's not be bad to anybody out there. Let's not add to whatever they may be going through.